1 minute to start. Ladies and gentlemen, the event is about to begin. Please take your seats and mute your phones. Thank you.
Good morning. Did you have a good evening? Did you enjoy the dinner? Did you enjoy this beauty? Yes, please, a big round of applause for that. As I promised yesterday, not to bore you too much, I just would like to give you the framework under which this partnership has been created and why we at CNH Industrial and IVECO are so excited about today's launch and today's event. I don't know whether you're going to see those slides. Does that work? Yes. As you know, CNH Industrial is more than just a truck company. It's more than just a powertrain company. It's also one of the largest companies in the off-highway space, agricultural machinery, construction machinery. And I think I don't tell you too much if I let you know that once we have made and seen the success of fuel cell technology and battery-powered vehicles, you will very, very soon seeing that technology rolled out also in the off-highway segment. And it was only consequent that in September, when we talked to the capital markets, we laid out a very, very clear strategy how we at CNH Industrial would power sustainable transformation. So powering sustainable transformation was the mantra that we set out at the capital markets. And we laid that strategy on 3 clear pillars. The first one is we want and will outgrow our end markets in the next 5 years. And many people have been questioning our ambition to outgrow the industry and to grow 5% organically in markets that are actually volatile or, if it comes to the truck industry, shrinking. And we will do this, we will achieve this outgrowth and win of market share through innovation. And this is exactly where Nikola and IVECO fit in. By innovation, by being disruptive, we will win back and gain market share with the objective to become the leader in sustainable whatever we do. The second mantra we set out is that we want to be profitable. Nothing goes without profitability, and the investments of 13 billion that we're going to do as a large corporation over the next years need to be earned. And we're going to earn this because of our innovation premium. So we also set out a pretty ambitious margin target, and we will improve our margins over the next years by 400 bips. And lastly, and this was probably a surprise to some of you, we have said that we're going to unlock the value of our portfolio by creating 2 companies. And whatever you see today is done on the backdrop that by the beginning of 2021, we will demerge CNH Industrial in 2 global leaders. Big companies, but aggressive companies, fast companies. One company is going to be a leader in sustainable agricultural and construction machinery, and the second company is going to be a leader in sustainable transportation. And this is exactly where the Nikola partnership fits in. Nikola will be partnering up with our so-called on-highway company, with IVECO, with FPT, and will form one of the strongest disruptor in the global truck industry. As I said yesterday, why we are so proud of this partnership is for three reasons. The first one is it's a unique partnership in our industry. A startup company from Phoenix, Arizona, with an energized, visionary leadership team valued at $3 billion, comes together with one of the oldest and most prestigious truck manufacturers, IVECO, and engine manufacturers, FPT, here from Europe. I don't want to call it a marriage in heaven, because that's kind of tainted if we remember the Daimler relationship, but I think it's a good partnership. It's a partnership where two soulmates have met, as I said yesterday. And I think you saw yesterday the chemistry between the teams, and you're going to see more of that today when I urge Garrick and Russell in a second on stage. The second reason why this partnership is unique is because what this partnership creates is the coolest, hippest products on the planet. And I think that beautiful truck speaks for itself. And as you heard yesterday, and as you will hear also later during the press conference today, there are far more beauties like that going to come and to hit the European, North American, Asian, later South American markets. And you're going to learn and hear about that today. The third reason why we're so excited about that partnership is because we see this as a natural transformation of our company from becoming or being the leader in liquefied natural gas trucks to then becoming the leader in fuel cell trucks. And we actually see a natural progression between these technologies. LNG, which is important for us today, is paving the way into what I called yesterday the fuel cell economy. And that fuel cell economy is probably as big as the last industrial revolution. I had a discussion with my son over the weekend, and he asked me, "Father, what is the next big thing?" And I told him, I think it is the fuel cell economy. Because a fuel cell and hydrogen is, as we heard yesterday from Trevor, the only way how to sustainably store and transport an abundance of energy coming from the sun, coming from solar, coming from water, and coming from wind. And with that one, I would like to ask Gerrit Marx, as the head of our commercial vehicle business, and Mark Russell, the head and president, as we heard yesterday, of Nikola Motors, here on stage to basically share with us their thinking on the future. Thank you very much, and enjoy the press conference.
So, I think I don't know. That's gorgeous. Oh, yeah. I don't need that. So, welcome everybody, and good morning. Here we are again after an amazing night yesterday, unlocking the next level. This is the very first time that Nikola Motors and CNH Industrial are jointly presenting ourselves and our vision and where we want to go. To me, it already feels like an eternity, like years. I mean, I think I already have a home in Phoenix. I don't know, but it is, in fact, it's the very first day that we are here together on the stage and have the opportunity to explain our partnership in greater depth. And it's not only about what we do this morning, it's about what we're going to do in the entire afternoon and the days to come. Many of you already know Mark Russell, Nikola Motors president. He's very well known here among us in Europe, and probably of those of you who were in Madrid when we launched the S-WAY, some of you have noticed that Mark and Kim were at my table when we had the party that evening when we had the S-WAY reveal. So that is not a coincidence. I heard Mark once say, and that's my favorite quote, it's a lot better to be the disruptor than to be disrupted. But Mark, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and put some more flavor around that famous quote of yours?
Happy to do that. I certainly am having a lot more fun being the disruptor than I did for a couple of decades being in the establishment infrastructure part of the transportation business. And let me tell you how that happened. 7 years ago, one of the businesses I was responsible for at the time was a natural gas and liquid natural gas pressure vessel business. And in that business, we got a new customer. And that customer increased their order every month until finally it got to the point that I asked the people in that business, I said, who are these people? They said, well, it's a startup company out in the western part of the United States. It's a bunch of young people, and they're crazy, but their orders increase every month. So I said, let's go meet them. And that's when I met Trevor Melton. And the company that he had founded there was called D-Hybrid, and they were making fuel systems, alternative fuel systems. And just a few months later, I convinced the board of Worthington, my company at the time, to acquire that company. And Trevor briefly worked for me, only very briefly, because he said, you know, I'm not going to be a corporate person. He said, my vision since I was a small boy was to create trucks that would change the world, and that's what I'm going to go do. And if you're smart, you'll back me. And so we did. We helped him found Nikola. And I've been on the investor and support side for all these years as he's assembled this team and these partnerships and gotten the business to where it was on the precipice of being able to say we're going to change the world. And all that time, Trevor was bothering me to come join the company. And finally this year, about a year ago, I agreed, and I did. Across the Rubicon, I'm now a disruptor along with Trevor. That's how it happened.
Crossing the Rubicon is a famous theme in Italy. So, thank you, Mark. So today we will talk about time, the present and the future. And we will be covering all key aspects and objectives of our partnership, of our joint venture in Europe over the next couple of hours. Later on, you will have the chance to explore in greater details the various different aspects of our partnership, the product, the technology, the connectivity, and the broader ecosystem of the business system we are going to create jointly in joint workshop sessions of Nikola, FPT Industrial, and IVECO colleagues. So time is a key theme today. It has been exactly 5 months after the launch of the S-WAY in Madrid to the day, July 2nd, that was yesterday, and it was 3 months to the day we announced the partnership at the Capital Markets Day in New York, which is today, 3 months. So it was yesterday, 2 months, and 3 months less 1 day. So even less. So less than 100 days. So CNH Industrial is moving very, very fast, as Hubertus said, and we have taken very decisive steps to keep that pace together with Nikola, and we are going to embark on changing the industry at a far greater pace. As I've said in other occasions, we can't outspend competition, but we can outpace and outsmart them, and we're off to a great start with this venture. As demonstrated by the fact that we have announced this partnership only these 3 months ago, and today we are here with you talking about it publicly. Mark, to kick it off, why did you choose us as your strategic partner for changing the world to a better place?
Well, that's a great question. We did consider virtually all of the OEMs in the world, and in the end we found in IVECO a company that was already a disruptive force. CNHI and IVECO were already pioneering in the alternative fuel market, the infrastructure, the technology. Trevor and I both have extensive background in natural gas fueled vehicles, so we were very impressed and had great respect for what IVECO has accomplished as one of the leaders and one of the people revolutionizing the sector and leading the market and delivering natural gas vehicles into service, and also driving the creation of the necessary service and support infrastructure, exactly the kind of things we're going to have to do with the fuel cell and the hydrogen supply chain. IVECO was also unique in that it was a brand that did not compete at all in the North American market. That made them what we call a problem-free partner for us. And then finally, we were most impressed with the intensity and the spirit of the people that we met. IVECO is the smallest of the major heavy-duty truck makers in Europe, but they clearly know how to move fast and how to fight in a fiercely competitive market, and that really resonated with us. And so far in our partnership, it's proven out. We are never waiting for each other in this thing, as we've done this in less than 100 days, and we're moving together at startup speed, what I call it. So Garrett, my question to you then is, how are we going to accelerate the industry's transition to zero emissions? And why is now the time to act?
So 2 questions, how and why now is the time? Because that's the key questions on everybody's mind, especially related to the timing. Electric, battery, and fuel cell technology is exactly the how. And LNG technology available today is a bridge for the next years to come to further propel and boost this future that Mark and I and Trevor and Hubertus and Elisa, we're all fully aligned behind to deliver. So this industry transformation towards the emission neutrality or zero emission of Class 8 trucks in North America and Europe is clearly the mission we've embarked on. We will offer a complete transport solution approach from servicing to leasing packages, which will allow our customers both the stability and peace of mind when they operate these long-term certainty, when they operate these long haulage vehicles with a long-term certainty in a TCO model that we will show you here once more on the screen. This TCO model is what we have already shown in Madrid, and it very nicely embodies our vision of the circular economy, even with a loop inside. So the centerpiece of it is all around the costs that are very familiar to all of you, and this is exactly what we have to make parity and better, even or better than alternative propulsion technologies. The outer loop, the green loop, that is covering on not only driver satisfaction, which is the social link here between the driver, because we fully committed to drivers, because again, they are here to stay for the next decades to come, and fully autonomous robot trucks is a niche. We're not going to see that anywhere soon. But this outer loop here is truly the change in thinking. That is the link to the circular economy. This is the link to true sustainability and the loops that we as an industrial goods company have to deliver to the next generations to come. This TCO model has evolved to include all factors, not only driver satisfaction, but it's the true sustainability. It's the depicting of a sustainability logo almost. It has changed from simple being a list of expenditures to a comprehensive concept capable of including all aspects of a modern transport solution. So indeed, all the TCO elements have been integrated into this loop, and you will keep hearing us to talk about this a lot of times. So now the even more relevant question. So why now is the time? I mean, fuel cell technology has been in the market, not in the market, has been in research labs and prototypes for the last decade. So, but why now? Why now is the time that we are so deeply convinced that it's gonna happen, like a freight train, using a quote from yesterday evening. There are 3 reasons, and probably more, but I only quote 3 reasons why this is happening now. The first argument is about the tightening emission regulations in Europe in 2025 with 15%, which is de facto, we need to deliver at least 20-25% CO2 reduction, because it's a dynamic target that keeps tightening, plus there's another emission regulation in between, which usually drives up fuel consumption. So in order to bring down 15%, real 15%, we need to target 20-25% CO2 reduction versus the actual consumption in 2019, which is only possible to be done with 8, 9, 10% of fully electric, emission-free, heavy-duty trucks. And thanks to the LNG technology we have, which is already 15% in CO2, minus 90, more than 90 in particles, and NOx percent, we are already on a leapfrogging position, yet it does require about that amount of trucks, 8, 9%, fully electric from 2025 onwards. And there's only one way to do it, and that's battery electric trucks with a modular toolkit, with a modular platform that allows us for fuel cell range extender technology. And that is exactly what we do here. And we also focus on the 4x2, because this is the toughest thing to accomplish, the 4x2, in terms of space. I mean, a long chassis can be done, but a 4x2 is the toughest application. And if it's done here, it's done in the entire range. So that's where we focus on this one. And 50% of our European heavy-duty truck market are trucks like these. It's the Arctic, it's the tractor head that has to deliver the TCO, the blue and the red part of the TCO, in a truly sustainable way. And the fuel cell technology for the long haul is the conditio sine qua non. It has to be it as a range extender fuel. So we're embracing this technology early and thoughtfully as a chance to benefit from this approaching moment of discontinuity, which is a great advantage if it's captured the right way to redefine your position in the market with these kind of new technologies emerging, partnering with the most, leanest and most agile partners in the world. So reason number one is emission standards. There's no way around it. It's going to happen. It will be electric, and we have to do it right. The second reason is we are a conflict-free partner for Nikola, and hydrogen is a conflict-free source of energy. Hydrogen is very suitable, if not only one of these energy sources for storing green renewable energy from wind and solar, and it becomes widely available and at great quality over the next years to come. It is available in the form of water, which is the most greenest source of it. It is all today made from gas, obviously, and with renewable energy and renewable biomethane behind. The loop with LNG actually closes, and it becomes the duality of absolute zero emission and carbon neutrality as LNG together with hydrogen in the next decade to come. So water is available everywhere, and I think we all want to avoid the conflicts and consequences that are around fossil fuels sourced from certain regions of the world. And I think being based on hydrogen, a hydrogen economy, a fuel cell economy gives greater independence to nations and regions, feeding their own energy demand. So hydrogen is number two, the reason number two, it's equally important. So the production is currently a challenge and energy intense, but we have great ways of cutting through this and getting access to low-cost energy. And finally, the third reason is an urgent need to create this circular economy. Not only use the words, but do it, deliver it for the future generations who are already practicing it and demanding it. This requires true end-to-end solutions from all of us. It is a generation that comes, and the next one behind that is fully connected both globally and socially on the web, and hence fully aligned behind their conviction that we have to change and we have to think in full cycles. And with time, this next generation will step up and make it happen. We've seen how far the movement Fridays for the Future has achieved in just 18 months. And we can only wonder how far it's going to take our industry and every industry inside our planet in the next 5 years. We're moving fast. We're keeping up. We're keeping the pace. But this is truly the three reasons why it's going to change. Hydrogen becomes available, the only conflict-free emission energy source. The tightening emission regulations, there's no way around it. There's no way to avoid it. It's going to happen, and it rather accelerates. And there's a next generation who will grow up and who will become leaders of the future, and they will hold us accountable for what we leave behind. So Mark, there's a lot of good news about battery electric vehicles. Trevor touched on it also yesterday. Can you help us here to understand a little bit more? Isn't fuel cell technology the ultimate target, and how does the battery technology fit into it as a bridge, as a certain technology for certain missions? Help us to understand the product roadmap, what we are setting up here jointly.
Well, first of all, you have to remember that both a battery and a fuel cell truck are both zero emissions, and both are based on the same electric drivetrain. The fuel cell truck is just a battery-driven truck with hydrogen as a range extender. It makes it suitable for long-haul applications that we've been talking about. And so, because that base vehicle is a battery electric vehicle, and because we now have access to the brand new and fully validated IVECO S-WAY platform, which was just introduced in July, we'll be able to produce Nikola vehicles first as battery versions, the base battery version, and which also allows us, because we have the S-WAY bones here, to introduce the vehicles as production models in the reverse order that we introduced them as prototypes. So we introduced the Nikola 1, and then the 2, and then the TRE. In production, it'll be the reverse. The TRE will come first, and then the 2, and then the 1. The initial testing of the battery version of the TRE that you see here, right here, it'll commence in the middle of next year, and then we'll launch it officially at the IAA show in Hanover in September 2020. And also, we'll launch it in the US at our own event, which we're calling Nikola World 2020, and then first deliveries to end customers will be 2021. Sales and after support will be through the IVECO European dealer network, which is already established. So big head start in this partnership for us. The battery power tray then becomes the base of the longer range hydrogen fuel cell version that will be in testing in 2021, introduced in 2022, and delivered to end customers in 2023. And at the same time, IVECO has become our engineering and production planning partner for the North America only Nikola TRE, which will be tested, introduced, and produced in parallel with the fuel cell version of the tray. So let's touch on the product before going into depth in the workshops. You just launched the new IVECO S-WAY Madrid in July. How much of this vehicle, the S-WAY, is in the new tray here, and what sets it apart?
I think you already touched on it. Well, our IVECO S-WAY is the bones donor of the Nikola TRE. So all the structural elements that you see is the S-WAY, a proven vehicle, you all know. While the intestines, the powertrain, is the Nikola technology that will be tailored to this vehicle in the next month in a modular platform, and then we're going to have these vehicles, as Trevor mentioned, on the road starting next year for testing in 2021 as a battery available for customers. It represents our concept of customer centricity, this vehicle, but it's also the beginning of an entirely new journey for IVECO in the years to come. It's a platform where we'll introduce new disruptive features and new disruptive thinking. But firstly, please allow me to take a few minutes to tell you where we are with the IVECO S-WAY 5 months from its launch. So in Madrid, we hosted a huge event which you had seen, and I know I got big criticism that it lasted for 3 hours. So we will not do 3 hours today. So it will be a crisp and concise event. So I apologize for what happened. But we have created a huge impact, and we've built massive momentum. The launch was covered extensively in both the trade and the general press, and through social media alone, and these are records for IVECO. We have reached almost 9 million people. We've generated 500,000 interactions. It's a record for us. And from here it only goes up, and I think from here we're going to accelerate also in this partnership. But for us, not as a startup, you can call us a carry-on, but for us, being in this partnership, I think we're going to accelerate from here at even a greater pace. So what's more, the event itself in Madrid has won the 2019 Best B2B Award. So we were awarded that prize. We are not in the business of winning awards and prizes, but I just wanted to mention that actually it has built a huge momentum, and also the unstoppable theme and the video and the mindset that we are conveying here as the IVECO has been greatly appreciated. We have since then followed this with local launch events across Europe. So overall, we can say that the IVECO S-WAY has been extremely well received in the market by both the press and the customers. Our order book for the S-WAY in LNG and diesel clearly shows us how well appreciated it is. In the period from the launch since July till today, the heavy-duty order book of IVECO is 3 times the order book of 2018 at the same period. With the IVECO S-WAY, we have repositioned our heavy-duty truck range, and we completely redesigned the cab to optimize aerodynamics and achieving more than 4% of fuel savings. And 4% of fuel savings in the new world is percent of kilogram hydrogen or kilowatt hours on the battery. So this will be the new themes and the new language we will practice here. So we are now among the very best in terms of cab spaciousness and storage capacity. We are receiving very positive feedback across the board, and particularly when it comes to driver comfort, quiet operation, and the overall handling of the vehicle. And let's not forget, we have further strengthened our portfolio offering with a natural gas range to confirm IVECO's leadership in the natural gas segment in our industry, where we continue to lead with more than 50% market share, which is the readily available greenest technology that, combined with bio content in the fuel, is paving the way to the future, accelerating obviously as well in the direction of a circular economy. We will maintain our focus on natural gas, together with our focus on future technologies, on combustion engines such as diesel, while we work with Nikola in developing our electric brand offering for our customers. There will be no IVECO electric heavy truck, it will be Nikola. Nikola is the exclusive electric heavy-duty truck line for battery, electric, and fuel cell trucks. The IVECO S-WAY success is very well deserved, and because it's an amazing product and it's the perfect base for the Nikola TRE together with Nikola's technology. It's the perfect partnership. It's a conflict-free partnership. We both want each other to win, and we both count on each other. Mark, it's a lot about Europe, but tell us a little bit about the experience you have developed with fuel cells and batteries in the US, and what are the links you see between Europe and the US?
Well, Nikola is a leader in batteries and in fuel cells, and combined now with you and IVECO, together with your experience in alternative fuels and the S-WAY platform as the bones of the TRE, we've been able to accelerate all of our timelines, all of our plans. Everything we were planning to do in the US and globally is now accelerated, and IVECO and FPT have become our partners in creating the production versions of both the battery and fuel cell versions of the TRE, and also the Nikola 2, which will be North America only. Zero emission trucking is already a reality in North America. You see behind me an actual photograph of the first Anheuser-Busch zero emission beer delivery in history. Even if you go back to the Clydesdales and the horses, they were emitting some methane out the back. So this was the first time that beer went from the flagship brewery in St. Louis to a distribution center being pulled by one of our Alpha Nikola 2s, powered only by hydrogen. It was very exciting. It was just a week ago. From the distribution center, a battery-powered truck pulled it to the hockey arena, and the hockey drinkers drank it all that night. It was exciting. Soon we hope to repeat this kind of groundbreaking event with a zero-emission vehicle delivery on the roads here in Europe, probably some olive oil from the south of Italy to the north. Would that be great?
It would be great. And by the way, olive oil has no CO2 inside, right? So there's still
the beer
some
does.
The beer
Yeah.
does, right? So there's some remaining in. So Mark, this is just the beginning. This is the very first encounter. This is the very first day we have, and we want to make it a dialogue. Hence, there's this workshop set up for the rest of the day. The next steps following this event will be to hold a dedicated supplier day in a few days' time, followed by what we are calling a fleet week, which is basically starting this week, which will be focused on introducing this technology and our plans to our customers. This technology will come with choices, and the choices will be around things like wheelbase, turning circle, overall length. It will be about range, it will be about GVW and total weight. And we will jointly with our customers work through these choices. What are the most prominent and the most promising applications in Europe to go first, and hence what are the first things we're going to put on the road. So we're not just creating something because we can and then we put it on our customers because that's, what may have been at some point in time the way to proceed, but we want to make this a customer-centric development, co-created by customers. And when I say customers, it's certainly the fleets here present today, but it's also the customers of the customers. It's the refrigerated goods companies. It's the companies that need zero emission and CO2 neutrality for their carbon footprints in their businesses at the very end of the value chain. We're going to invite them and have them all here with us to not only co-create this vehicle in terms of its technical functionality, but there's a lot of digital content in here which you will soon enjoy. And today we're going to open the cap. So you will have the chance to climb in and see what we have done to the digital connectivity for this truck, and this will also be tailored and co-created with customers. So this is what customer centricity means for us. We will co-create this with everyone in a revolutionary approach. We will make them part of the process and our product. We are taking customer centricity to a whole new level. We are starting the proactive transformation of our transport sector, and it won't be just us as an OEM, original equipment manufacturer. We are involving the whole ecosystem of suppliers and customers. Together, we will make this change happen, and we're going to make it fast. We just started 3 months ago to the day, and look forward to what comes next, and happy to hear your thoughts, and we'll keep going. And we will go a very, very long way, and we go at a very fast pace. As I said, we're not going to outspend others, but we're going to outsmart and outpace, and you can count on us. As you know, Mark, we are unstoppable. Yeah? That's the theme. So allow me to conclude. We have to respect time, also the time of this press event, and we've been fairly concise, precise, and short in this very first session with you. So please, now for a Q&A session, please have welcome me on stage here as well. Hubertus Mühlhäuser, CNH Industrial CEO. Trevor Milton, Nikola Motors CEO and founder, and Annalisa Stupenengo, CNH President Powertrain. Ah.